Hi everybody, my name is Trish. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for your continued support. I hope that you'll subscribe if you're new to the channel. I hope that you will like this video, share, and also comment below if you have any questions or if you'd like to comment on your experience with any of the classes, especially this one today. So today's class is a restorative practice. It's called Rest and Restore because that's really what we get out of this type of practice. Not only do we have an opportunity to get some active rest and some very intentional rest, but it also helps us to rejuvenate and restore our energy, okay? So you're going to need a few props for this class today. I have a lot with me, which is typical. I like to have a lot of things around me just in case. So I encourage you to do the same if you have. I have 2 bolsters, I have 4 blocks and 2 blankets. If you don't have any of those props, feel free to substitute. You can always use cushions or pillows for in place of the bolsters, and you can also use towels in place of the blankets, or even hardcover books if they're nice, thick, and sturdy in place of the blocks. Okay, if you don't have any of those things, feel free to check out the class, see what you can grab maybe later on and substitute. There's always something that you can use in place of any of these things, okay? All right, so we're gonna start off with a nice gentle heart opener. I'm gonna take one of my bolsters here and just lay it so that it is parallel to the short side of the top of my mat. And then I'm gonna take one of my blankets as well. So I've just laid out my blanket kind of nice and wide. I'm actually even going to open up a little bit more because what we want is a little extra, what I like to call a noodle fold. So I'm just going to take it at one end, roll it away from me, and you can roll it to whatever height or thickness, I should say, maybe that you want. And you can always play with that. So that might change. You might try it out and then feel like you need to back off on the roll or like you need to add to the roll a little bit. So I'm going to take a kind of a thick roll. And we want to leave a little bit of space between the bolster and the blanket so that you have some space for your shoulders to roll back and for your chest to feel like it's rolling back as well, okay? Now taking the bolster anywhere along the midline, or mid-spine, I should say. Just settling into where you can find, as I mentioned, that rolling back or that sensation of rolling back of the shoulders. Even here, I feel like I need a slightly thicker roll, so I'm going to just take that up and just slide that in behind my neck. Arms can rest out with the palms looking up. And if this is too intense for you right off the bat, feel free to use a blanket or a towel in place. You can also just take a towel roll under your mid-spine. And just start to settle in or notice your breath. And just allow the feet to just allow them to fall off to the sides or towards the sides of your mat. Imagining the pinky toes very heavy. We're looking to spend maybe about 3 minutes or so in each posture today. And we only have a few. Sometimes that's all we have time for, or that's really all we need. Start to settle in a little bit more with your breath, allowing the belly, the ribs to expand. Maybe drawing in through the nose and out through the nose. Even imagine a heaviness in through your hips. A sense of grounding as you breathe out. Notice any areas of tension. And see if on a breath out, you can just encourage a little extra softness. You're also welcome with this practice to pause the video at any time and just stay in the posture a little longer if that's what you feel you need. Just allow your brow to relax. And just notice any thoughts that might be passing by. Just allow them to continue to pass. Notice them and just breathe them away. Returning your focus inward and back to your breath. Notice what's coming up for you. What's rising to the surface. What is it that you need to let go of? Is it a thought? Is it an emotion? Is it something physical? Just sit with that and imagine yourself just releasing a grip, whatever that thing is. Imagine it floating away. Always keep in mind that if you've ever had enough of a particular posture, it's okay to come out a little early. Just listen to your body. We're going to stay for 2 more breaths. We always take our time coming out. Maybe just drawing the feet a little bit more towards one another. Taking a gentle bracing of the belly as you bend one knee at a time. Taking your feet flat to your mat. Feel free to even take a little sway side to side of your knees. And eventually rolling over to one side that feels most comfortable for you. Always coming up slowly. Maybe allowing the crown of the head to come last. Just remembering to always give yourself that time in between. Maybe even just sitting for a moment before we go to the next posture. Any comfortable position. If it feels good to close your eyes, do so. Maintaining that idea of just settling in your body and settling in your mind. If your eyes are closed, you can gently open them. And then we're going to set up another posture. You can move a blanket out of the way. And this time we're going to use maybe 2, maybe 4 blocks. So I'll show you both variations. Just really depends on how you feel. That first block is going to sit on its second height, furthest away from me. And then the second block is just going to come with a little bit of distance again, or space in between the two, on its first height closer to me. I'm going to set this up so that I place the bolster on an angle. I know that it's firm, and just give it a little bit of pressing down there. The other 2 blocks we can have close by. And feel free, if you want to actually even use one of your blankets or blanket or towel, whatever you've got, if you want to use that as an extra little pillow at the top, that can be really comforting too. So you can play around with what feels good. Just going to take your time, taking your hips, maybe a little bit of space in between the back of the pelvis and the bottom part of your bolster or your cushion. Taking the soles of the feet together. And then this is where those extra blocks can come in handy. So if you want to take them maybe on their second height here, or even on the first, so you can again play with the levels. That can just be an additional support underneath your knees. Remembering that in our restorative practice, we want to feel fully supported. We don't want to feel like we have to be doing any work here at all. Palms are looking up. My head is resting. If you want to do without the blocks, the knees may open a little bit more. You can always have them close by to add them in a little bit later if you're starting to feel too much tension. For today, I'm going to keep my blocks underneath my knees. See if you can imagine just a gentle length of the neck, a softening of the shoulders. Just encouraging that gentle relaxation through the hips. Continued ease in your breath. Let's stay with that fullness. Now, my eyes are closed, but you can always just leave your eyes open with a gentle gaze if that feels a little bit more safe for you. Just come back into your body for a moment. Are you feeling as though there's any resistance anywhere? Maybe the knees feeling as if they want to draw up and away from the floor. take a nice big breath in with me. On your exhale, just imagine the knees just falling, drifting down with gravity towards your mat or towards the floor. Just imagine that sensation with each breath. Inhale and exhale. Find your quiet. Maybe taking your mind to that safe, quiet space. A place where you feel most nurtured. A place where you feel loved and heard. Maybe that's a space that you create for yourself. Maybe you're on your own. Maybe it's a place or a memory of a loved one. Just invite in those emotions that come with that. Invite in that loving space. We're going to take another 2 breaths. And then once again, taking your time, inviting in some tiny movements to the fingertips, maybe the feet. As you take your hands to the outer hips or outer thighs and just draw the knees in closer to one another. And then just heel toe your feet slowly and gently away from one another. If you have any props or blocks there, just remove them away from the side that you're going to roll onto. Maybe again keeping those eyes closed if that feels good. Slowly coming up. Take a moment, again if need be, just to check in with how you feel. And then we're setting up for our next posture. We're going to set up for a twist. So I'm going to take my blanket away this time. And I'll show you how you can also possibly use it for a variation that might help you feel more comfortable. So starting with my right side hips, again, I have just a little bit of distance, maybe about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, just depending on what you need, where your head is going to land here. So you want to make sure that you have space enough that when you lay down, your head is going to be able to feel rested or supported with the bolster. Okay, bending my knees for this variation, just allowing the legs to just stack and rest gently and comfortably. And then take your hands, I like to take my fingertips on either side. As I take a breath in, show more of your chest and the front of your body towards your bolster so you feel a little bit more activation into the twist. So that breath in, and then on your exhale, slowly bend the elbows, lowering the chest down. And just resting one forearm at a time down onto your mat. So if you find that there's lots of space, you can see maybe my elbow is not quite making it down. If it doesn't, then that's where you can take extra support of a blanket or towel there just to rest. Again, that idea of doing nothing. Just allowing your body to completely soften into the space that you're setting up for yourself here. I just invite you to notice your shoulders here. Again, feel that sense of letting them go, letting them drop. Just allowing yourself to feel fully connected to and supported by the bolster. And even in your breath, just allowing for that expansion. So if it feels like you're making lots of contact on the right side of your body with the bolster on your in-breath, that's okay. Start to send even deeper, more expansion into the side ribs and even the back body as well. See if you can just drift and float away. Granting yourself this time to be very intentional about your rest. Will have long-lasting effects. Helping us to restore, rejuvenate. Giving ourselves time and just contributing. Know that you're contributing to your own self-care. We're going to take another 2 breaths. Maybe on an in-breath, sweeping the hands back towards the direction of your hips. As you press yourself up and lengthen through the arms, let the crown of the head begin to dip down. Slowly come on up. Notice how you feel. And then we're going to turn to the other side. So you can take that blanket with you. If you notice that maybe one side is different than the other, no alarm. That's very common. So just use what you need for either side. So just take your time to go slow. Again, setting up with whatever kind of space you need. Maybe a lot, maybe a little. Framing your bolster with the fingertips. On your breath in, lift and lengthen through the spine. On your exhale, just slowly begin to lower down. Resting and laying left side or left ear down. Forearms rest. Just allow yourself to settle into this twist. Nothing too active, just a gentle way to just rehydrate in through the spine. Providing some circulation through those supportive tissues. And where is that sense of ease? Can we find it drawing a breath in and fully letting it go? Inhale and exhale. Drawing that breath in, releasing the breath. Following that gentle wave of each breath. Can you give over a little bit more into resting, feeling weighted into your props? Just taking your time. Slowly drawing the hands again back towards the direction of the hips. Taking a nice slow pressing away. Coming back around. Feel free to sit. Take a moment to settle. And our second last posture we're going to set up is a supported child's pose. So I'm going to leave this set up again. You have options too, like if this is too high, you can always take the blocks away. You can play with this and we can just leave it directly on your mat or on the floor, or you can leave the setup or maybe even just have a slight angle. It doesn't have to be as high as we had it before. So I'm actually even going to take my blankets to rest on either side, just to create some softening and support for my knees. So if you know that you're a little tender in that area, just like I am, then you can do that. And you also have another option that I'll show you actually really quickly. If you find that when you lay down, because when we come into the position here, we're going to again frame the bolster with our knees, bring our big toes together, and then settle down with the chest, and then just kind of taking one ear down at a time. But if you find that there's a little bit of a challenge of taking your hips all the way back and you need some extra comfort, maybe the hips are sitting really high, then you can use a blanket, roll it up to any height as well, and then you can place that between the back of your thighs and your calves. So maybe that will close off the space, and feel free to stuff more there. So if you need lots of support, take it. If you're already familiar with this posture, hopefully you're settling in. So knees apart and big toes touched or touching. And then again, just enough space to make sure that your head is resting on your bolster. So I'm turning right side down first. Hoping you can still hear me okay. Trying to be smooth here with my mic, but I don't know how successful I am right now. We'll maybe just stay for a minute, a couple minutes on each side, but I encourage you to stay for at least 3 minutes if possible in each posture. It may get a little bit too much for the hips depending on how you feel there. So that's why we're just going to do about 1.5 minutes on each side. But that extended time in these postures really allows us to settle into that part of the nervous system that really helps us to tap into that rest. Helps us to tap into that parasympathetic nervous system. So in this posture, where can you go? Can you allow for that tiny compression or a little bit of compression there through the belly and the bolster? Maybe it's there, maybe it's present. Try to see if you can just lean into it and accept it rather than trying to resist it. Always be comfortable, but also know that a little bit of that compression can even support our digestion. So we're just going to take another breath or two on this side. And then I came up a little quick there, but you can come up a little slower, just enough to just turn your head to the other side. So left ear down. Allow that breath out to let the shoulders just kind of round around the bolster, as if to give a nice wide hug. Remember that you can come out at any time, so it's not unnatural to maybe feel a lot of sensation in through the calves now, if this isn't a position that you're used to staying in. It's okay to ease your way in. You're still going to get those benefits. Even if you're staying in for a shorter time, you're teaching the body to respond and adapt slowly and in time. Take another 3 breaths. As you come away, just a tiny lift of your head away from your bolster, turning the nose down, pressing up, crown of the head again tries to come last. And just shift your hips away from your heels. Take your time crawling away or coming away from your bolster, however it feels comfortable for you or whatever is instinctual. And setting up our final posture, we're going in for a supported Shavasana. So I'm going to take another bolster, but you're welcome to use the same one. I just like to use this more cylindrical one if you have. It just feels nice under the knees. So you're going to place it under your knees, but you're welcome to use anything that you have, even a blanket. Again, you can use a blanket roll. I might even again use that blanket roll for what we did at the beginning with that space, closing off the space from the back of the neck to the mat. So I'm just going to take another roll and just leaving the flat side of the blanket furthest away from me. Pushing these blocks out of the way. And coming into your setup however you need to. If you need less pressure in and around the abdominals, feel free to come in on your side. And again, maybe that'll help you find the distance of where you need to have that roll of the blanket if you're using it. And then I'm going to take a slightly thicker roll again. Again, that bolster underneath my knees feels nice. Just allow the arms to rest out in a comfortable position with the palms looking up. And once again, settle in. Allow yourself to just get fully over into your final posture for today's class. Giving over to your Shavasana. Allow for that softening through your jaw, the space between your brow. Allowing the bottom teeth to even just fall back a little further behind the top teeth. Allowing the back of the bottom jaw to feel heavy. Maybe taking a moment for an affirmation like, I show myself love when I give myself rest. Anything you want it to be. I'm going to say that affirmation 3 more times. You can say it with me in your head, or say it out loud, or just say any variation of your own. I show myself love when I give myself rest. I show myself love when I give myself rest. I show myself love when I give myself rest. Breathe that in. Accept it, feel it, and know it. You're more than welcome to stay there for as long as you need to. If you're coming out with me, you can again bend your knees one at a time. I like to just take my feet and maybe just push or roll that bolster away. Taking your feet flat. Invite in some movement with a little sway of the hips side to side. Maybe some movement through the fingers. And then just rolling over onto a comfortable side, maybe your right side. Take your time pressing yourself up once again. Find a comfortable seat. Finding a little length in the spine. Closed or soft open eyes. Maybe bring the palms together, drawing them into your heart. Namaste. You guys, I thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope to bring some more restorative classes to the channel. But as I said, comment below. I would love to hear what you'd like to see, and I would love to know what your experience was like today. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hope to see you again soon.